Hey everyone, I'm Caren, and today I'm joined by Taj and Sa-ryong to talk about the latest developments for on-device generative AI in Android. In this talk, we'll cover how to consider use cases for on-device Gen AI in Android apps, Gemini Nano, Google's most efficient model that's optimized for mobile devices and built with privacy and safety by design, a set of new Gen AI APIs powered by Gemini Nano to help your app perform the most common tasks, apps that are already using Gemini Nano in production, and preview what we're working on next to help bring Gemini Nano to more developers. Let's start by exploring what type of use cases are well suited for Gen AI. Successful Gen AI usage typically focuses on one of the following: content consumption, creation, or classification. Gen AI can help users consume content from different sources by aggregating, condensing, or extracting important information. For example, providing a summary of users' notifications, summarizing contents of an email thread, highlighting main points of a document, or extracting information from an image to be returned as text. Next, let's consider Gen AI for content creation use cases. For example, Gen AI can help users brainstorm ideas or generate prompts at the beginning of the content creation process. During the creation process, Gen AI can offer writing assistance, such as checking grammar or rephrasing recommendations. And before sharing content, Gen AI can help suggest captions, hashtags, or taglines. Finally, Gen AI can be used to provide better content classification experiences. For example, by analyzing user-generated content, such as comments and reviews, to filter for spam or detect overall sentiment, or categorizing content into different topics and themes, such as organizing personal notes or documents. With these use cases in mind, let's now consider how on-device Gen AI is well suited to perform these tasks. On-device Gen AI refers to the ability to process prompts and data directly on the device without sending data to a server. Since a server is not required, this offers a few advantages. Sensitive user data can be processed locally on the device. Functionality of the model does not depend on internet connectivity, meaning the model can output results even with spotty or no internet connection. And lastly, there's no additional cost for each inference, since everything runs on the user's hardware. With these advantages, on-device Gen AI makes a great solution for the use cases involving content consumption, creation, and classification. So let's dive into how you can already enable some of these use cases today. Gemini Nano is Google's most efficient large language model for on-device tasks, and you can now build with Gemini Nano using Android's AICore system service. AICore is a system-level module. By using it to access Gemini Nano, apps can gain advantages such as optimizations based on device hardware to enable low inference latency and reduce power consumption, no extra effort in managing model deployment, including updates to the Gemini Nano model, and local processing. AICore can't directly access the internet. Any requests to download models or other information are routed through Private Compute Service, a separate companion APK. AICore is also designed to isolate each inference request. This means that requests are handled independently and processed from one app at a time to mitigate the risk of data being exposed to other apps that use AICore. Input data and resulting outputs are never stored anywhere on the device. In addition, it's important to ensure that Gemini Nano allows developers to build with AI responsibly. To achieve this, multiple layers of protection were implemented to limit harmful or unintended results. At its core, the Gemini Nano model is trained with safety considerations. On top of that, both the input prompt and the results generated by Gemini Nano runtime are evaluated against our safety filters before providing results to the app. With these benefits in mind, now let's hear from Taj about how you can easily adopt Gemini Nano in your Android apps.
We're excited to announce a new set of generative AI APIs as part of MLKit to help your apps perform on-device tasks using the Gemini Nano model. To start, we're releasing 4 new APIs that are built for on-device tasks. Summarization, to summarize text such as chat conversations and articles. Proofreading, to help users polish short content. Rewrite, to assist users in rewording content in different styles, such as formally, casually, concisely, or even emojified. And image description, to provide a short description for your images. Key benefits of these APIs include high-level APIs that allow for easy integration, similar to the existing MLKit APIs. Quality results out of the box, meaning no extra effort required for prompt engineering or fine-tuning for specific use cases. Consistent quality across supported devices and model upgrades. Now, let's dive into what it means for these APIs to be powered by Gemini Nano. There are 4 main components that make up each of the Gen AI APIs. The first, the base model, Gemini Nano. That runs the inferences. Next, for each task, we've developed a low-rank adaptation, or LoRa, block to further improve the quality of specific tasks. Before each API's release, we also run a set of evaluation metrics to standardize the quality of the output across different Android devices. And lastly, each API is built on optimized prompts so that the model can return the best quality results. These components significantly reduce developer effort required to incorporate Gen AI in Android apps with Gemini Nano. Let's take a closer look at what it takes to implement one of these APIs in an Android app. For this example, let's try summarizing a web article to get the gist of it. Start by defining which task is being implemented. In this case, it's the summarizer task. Then, set different options to guide the model in processing the input request and generating higher quality results, tailored to the app's use case. In this one, we want to create a summarization of an article, and we want the summarization to be returned in a 1-bullet format. Next, check whether this API is available on the current device and whether it needs to be downloaded. If the feature is available on the device, start creating the summarization request. And if the feature hasn't been downloaded yet, start the download process. Once the feature is downloaded, run the inference. And finally, once output is ready, read the results of the summarization. When the use case is completed, be sure to release the resource. Now, if we put it all together, not including the code to download the feature, it took just 10 lines of code to implement the summarization feature with Nano. This was the code example for the summarization task. But usage of all Gen AI APIs will follow this similar pattern of defining the task to implement along with the input and output format desired, checking whether the task is available on device and whether it has already been downloaded, creating the request to run the task, and running the inference to get a result output. Here's how we best use these Gen AI APIs. For the Gen AI summarization API, consider using it for summarizing call or message transcripts that involve 2 or more users, and short articles, or documents less than 4,000 tokens long, or about 3,000 English words. For the Gen AI proofreading and rewrite APIs, consider using it during the content creation process for short content, around 256 tokens, to help with tasks like refining messages in a particular tone, polishing personal notes for easier consumption later, and rewording content to be more suitable for different settings. And lastly, the image description API could be useful in a lot of cases, like generating titles of images very quickly, utilizing descriptions of images for when you can't look at your screen, like when you're driving or listening to a podcast, or generating alternative text to help visually impaired users better understand the content of their images. For more detailed documentation on all the Gen AI APIs, be sure to check out the official documentation page and sample on GitHub.
Now that you know how to start using Gemini Nano in your app, let's take a look at some apps that are already leveraging Gemini Nano's capabilities. Envision is an app that speaks out the visual world to help visually impaired people lead more independent lives. A common use case for Envision is take a picture of document and have it read aloud. To improve this user journey even more, Envision integrated Gen AI API summarization feature so users can get a concise and meaningful summary of captured document. This significantly enhances the user experience by allowing them to quickly grasp the main points of the document and determine if a more detailed reading is desired, and saving them time and effort. During the API integration process, Envision engineers found that the GenAI summarization API was easy to use, and they were able to build out this new GenAI-powered feature in just a couple of hours. Google Home's new status widget uses Gemini Nano to provide status update about your home. The Nano model analyzes complex data such as the device states, camera events, and activity logs, and then synthesizes this information into a simple summary report. The Google Home engineers found that Gemini Nano is excellent for handling specialized tasks and saving on server costs. Several Google apps, including Messages, Recorder, TalkBack, and Gboard, have also been using Gemini Nano for summarization, rewriting, and image description to improve the user experience. In addition, your Pixel phones that support Gemini Nano now include these helpful features. The weather app now gives you a quick, personalized forecast summary, less scrolling, more knowing. On-device scam detection is now running in Messages and Phone by Google. Pixel Screenshots apps analyze your screenshots to suggest relevant actions, such as navigating to an address. It also allows you to easily query information like package tracking number or a Wi-Fi password. And lastly, imagine having an efficient note taker assisting on your calls. That's what we've built in Phone by Google. It not only transcribes and summarizes your calls, but also creates action items or appointments on calendar. With so many apps already using Gemini Nano in production, we are excited to continue working on improving our Gemini Nano and Gemini API offerings. Gemini Nano is becoming more and more capable. We are adding even better support for languages like German, Japanese, Korean, Spanish, and more. And in addition to image and text input, we are also working on supporting audio. At this year's I/O, we showcased our on-device innovation by launching a new Gemma on-device model. We are excited to soon bring similar advancements along with only with Google feature to Gemini Nano for Android. And to make it even easier for you to build with Gemini Nano, we are introducing a GenAI prompt API designed so you can focus on achieving results through well-crafted prompts. This will be available later this year. Let me introduce Kakao Mobility, creator of the popular South Korean rideshare app Kakao T. Let's take a look at how they use the prompt API to improve a critical user journey in their app. In the Kakao T app, users can place delivery orders by sending messages through chat. However, Kakao faced the challenge of easily extracting phone numbers and addresses from delivery request messages. With the power of prompting, they could quickly obtain the required information. Because Nano understands the meaningful entities, you don't need to teach it what phone numbers or address look like in the context of messages. Also, you might notice that there were multiple names and phone numbers in the input, but Nano understands which one is for the recipient. Next, the prompt API gives you full control of the output. Kakao wanted to get the result from JSON format. Providing a schema or an example of desired response format was enough to get the expected result. With this new implementation to easily extract critical information needed to process each delivery order request, Kakao is expecting to save more than 40 seconds per order. This feature is coming to all Kakao T users this month. Even further, having a consistent cross-device experience was key. For this, Kakao built a unified function leveraging Gemini Flash in the cloud when local inference couldn't ensure good quality. With this hybrid AI approach, they are able to provide consistent experiences to all of their users. We are focused on enabling even more use cases with Nano's multimodality by gathering feedback from developers and partnering with companies like Kakao Mobility.
We've covered a lot in this session. To quickly recap, the new GenAI APIs powered by Gemini Nano are available for you to implement today. This includes APIs for summarization, proofreading, rewrite, and image description. We'll continue to work on improving the developer experience with Gemini Nano. So be sure to keep an eye on our official AI documentation at developer.android.com/AI for the latest updates. And we're excited to see what you will build with our on-device offerings.